Okay, so what's the first step in order to do the polynomial sketch? You have to do what? Yes, factor. So I'm going to write negative, and then I see this is called the, anybody know what that's called? Difference of two squares. So x squared minus 36 would be x
plus 6
and
x minus 6.
Very good. This is a factor that's already factored, so I'm going to write that down. Nope. And this is already factored. You don't have to write it out twice. So it's completely factored, and then I say, what is the degree? I'm going to count it. How many x's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
If you have a square, that's counting twice. Is that even or odd?
Odd.
Okay, maximum terms.
4.
Because you know it is
1 less than the degree.
Awesome. Okay, maximum x-intercepts?
5.
Okay, then we're going to look at our factors to get the zeros. What's the first zero going to be? By the way, how many zeros should I have? If the degree is 5?
5.
5 zeros. So we've got negative 6. Next one.
6.
Positive 6. Next one.
Positive.
All right, it's not positive 5. If you don't know what the answer is, set the factor equal to 0 and solve. It's 2x equals 5. So it's not 5, but it's last step. Divide by 2.
So it would be
5 halves. And the last one is x plus 6 squared, so that's going to be negative 6 twice. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, is there a tangent? Is there anything repeated twice?
yes.
But that's repeated 3 times, so that's a terrace at not a tangent.
Oh.
There is no tangent. I don't want to put x. Let's put none, because you might think it's a variable or something. Okay? If it's odd and the leading coefficient is negative, what's the behavior going to be?
F of x approaches negative.
No.
Positive.
Show me with your arms. If it's starting, is that positive or negative?
Negative.
That's positive.
Oh.
If it ends positive, it's positive. If it ends negative, it's negative. So it's going to look like this second one right here. So the end behavior is as x approaches negative infinity, f of x is approaching positive, and the other one's going to be negative. The end is negative if it's negative. Okay, next step, plot the points. You could have actually plotted the points next. So all the zeros, my largest one is 6. So I'm going to make sure I make enough space to get 6 on there. 6. And negative 6 is my next size. No, wait, yeah, that's right. And then I have a 5 halves, which is 2.5. And that's everybody, right? Okay, so I know the behavior is actually going to start from up here, and I know it's going to end down here. But instead of just sketching it, I'm going to make my sign change chart. So I'm going to pick points that are in between the intervals. So what's a point to the left of negative 6?
Negative 7.
Okay. A point in between negative 6 and 5 halves. Pick the easiest one.
0.
Yeah, 0. And then the next point between 5 halves and 6.
4.
That's good. And then a point to the right of 6.
7.
Okay, so there's our 4 points. All right, then at the top you're going to put your factors. Anything that's squared, actually don't forget the negative. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my negative as its own box. It's kind of weird, but that's one way to do it. It's just, it is negative. And then x minus 6, 2x minus 5. This is getting ugly. And then x plus 6 squared. And then my last thing would be f of x.
There's an easier way to do this, right? Like once you know how to graph it, we don't.
I could do it without the chart, yeah, but I want y'all to make the chart. Okay, so I take, remember I just did the negative in the front, I know no matter, that's just negative. Okay, so what's negative 7 plugged in here, positive or negative?
The negative thing.
Right. 0 plugged in there.
Uh,
Since 6 is, all the rest are going to be positive. All the rest are positive. I like to go down vertically because it's easier to think about one factor at a time. Is the first one going to be negative? Negative 7 minus 6. It's a negative number. 0 minus 6.
Negative.
4 minus 6.
Negative.
7 minus 6. Okay? Now we're going to go to 2x minus 5. 2 times negative 7 is a negative number. Minus 5 is a negative number. It's a negative number. 2 times 0 minus 5.
Negative.
Negative. 2 times 4 minus 5.
Positive.
And since that's positive, the next one has to be positive because it's getting bigger. Okay, now we're going to square the next one. Wait a minute. Didn't we have a terrace?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Does that change things?
No. The x plus 6 should be cubed. It would have made it easier. You see what I'm saying?
Combine them all.
Yeah, but you could still do it this way. It would have been easier if I would have just had the cubed one. But you can see, because these two could have been combined. But whatever. All these are going to be positive. If you look at the two together, positive times negative is negative. I would have just had one column with a negative sign. You could put each factor individually also. Okay, now I go across. If I look at all these negatives, I've got how many negatives? 4. 4 negatives makes a positive. You just look at the negatives because the positive's going to be positive. All right, look at all the negatives again. How many negatives do I have?
3.
So that makes a what?
Negative.
Okay, the next section, 2 negatives makes a,
Positive.
and then the last one is negative. So what that's telling you is that at negative 7, it's going to be positive, which we already knew that. See how it's up here because we already knew our end behavior? And then at 0, it's going to be negative. So it's going to go down, which we kind of already knew. It's going to go down from 6, from negative 6. Now, what do you notice that I'm not doing right? Do you see how negative 6 is a terrace? So I got to make it kind of weird, funky looking. So you just kind of go like this. Make it kind of curvy, like look like a little curve or like a flat line right there. You can do it like that, or you can kind of go. All right, so then that's negative down here, so I'm negative. The sketch is not looking that great, but it doesn't matter as long as it's down. All right, the next one's going to be positive between 5/2 and 6, which makes sense. I'm going to cross through here and come up. And then it says 7 is negative, which tells me I'm going back down. And there's my sketch. So now all I have to do now is my local max and my local min. Where do you see, how many axes do I have? Where do you see a point that's a curve upwards? Up here? So where is it located? It's between 5/2 and 6. You're estimating, you're not giving an exact answer. The minimum is going to go, it's hitting at negative 6, and so it's everything in here. So what is it between? Negative 6 and 5/2. And you're done. I'll change